Hello, everybody. My name is Travis, Big Sib's chess tutor, and today we're going to be learning about the tactic in chess called Zwischenzug, or Intermezzo, or in English, the in-between move. An in-between move in chess describes when you make a move that is unexpected to the opponent, usually in the form of not recapturing a piece, and instead create a much larger threat that they must respond to immediately, and only after they respond to said threat can you recapture your piece. That was a lot of words. Let me show you exactly what I mean. So in this position, it is black to move, and black thinks they have a tactic. Black tries to play the move queen takes d5, which immediately looks like a mistake because why can't white's pawn just take the queen? Well, this pawn is pinned. If white takes the queen, then black can take white's queen. And then after all is said and done, black is up an entire rook. So this is not an option for white. What white can do instead, though, is play the Zwischenzug. And it's very important that this is a check because it means that black is forced to respond. And after black gets out of check, now white can finally take the queen without problem because white's queen is out of the way and the pawn is no longer pinned. And so white is up a queen for a rook. Let me show you another example of a Zwischenzug. In this position, it's black to move, and black thinks they can win a pawn by first exchanging on d4 and then capturing the pawn with the knight. Well, at first it looks like this knight is hanging, because why can't white just take it with their queen? Well, because black can take white's bishop, and at the end of the day, black is up an entire pawn. However, rather than capturing this knight, white has an intermezzo, bishop takes d7 with check. And rather than losing this bishop outright, white is trading the bishops with tempo, because this is a check. So after queen takes, we can finally recapture this knight, and we will be up an entire piece rather than being down a pawn. Most Zwischenzug / intermezzo / in-between moves are checks, because checks are the most forcing type of move in chess. However, not all of them have to be checks, and sometimes they can even occur in the opening. In the Scotch opening, it's very common for black to do this one little intermezzo that I'm about to demonstrate. The Scotch opening starts like this, where both king's pawns come out, and then the knights develop, and then white opens up the center immediately with pawn to d4. And after some exchanging, white has a move in this position, knight takes c6. Now, the expected move would be to recapture this knight with one of your pawns. Now, we don't want to recapture with the d pawn, because then white trades queens, and now we can't castle anymore, and that doesn't really feel great. But why can't we just capture with the b pawn? Well, this is a fine move, but we actually have a better move in this position rather than capturing the knight. What we can do is play the in-between move, queen to f6. Well, what does this do? It's not a check or anything, but it threatens checkmate immediately, because both our bishop and queen are attacking the f2 pawn. And so we're threatening queen takes f2 checkmate, which is something that white has to respond to. And now white doesn't have enough time to evacuate the knight. The most common move among masters in this position is the move queen to d2. And only now, after white plays queen to d2, can we recapture this knight with either the d or b pawn. Doesn't really matter. Well, what is the difference between this position and the original position where we recaptured the knight immediately? Well, in this position, each queen has moved once. The white queen is on d2, and the black queen is on f6. And these set of queen moves are very beneficial for black. For one, black's queen is on a very active square, controlling the entire f file, and is on this very long diagonal, controlling lots of space. Whereas white's queen has been put on a worse square. White's queen is blocking their bishop from developing, and also if for some reason white wants to develop the knight to that square, that is impossible for the time being.
Mauricio, I can't move it anymore. Mauricio.
So sometimes in between moves aren't actually even to win material, they're just to improve your position a little bit. And that's okay too.